The other thing I have for FYI is the progress, and Mike put it in his report, but our deal with clocks is, and I understand why they keep putting this bid off, because really we actually don't have enough money right now until we get the other part of the grant. And what we want to do when we get the other part of the grant, 2.2, we want to indicate there that we're going to extend our services toward our water well. And if we're lacking, what I want to do, and this is a question I'll ask the GLO, that since our funding for our water well is short, can we use any funds in the 2.2 to help us with our shortage on our water well? I kind of know the answer to that question, but I'm still going to ask, which will help us and not pull out of our budget any additional funds. So I want everybody to be aware of that. That's going to be, if you're welcome to come here on Tuesday, the 15th at 10 o'clock, and we'll sit down with them, and if you have any questions, we'll allow you to ask your questions. I believe that's about it. Don't think there's anything. Now, let me, for your information, I want us to be prepared, and I would like for each one of you council members to read the previous 40-year agreement with our water district, because I got a feeling they fix to come to us with renewing a contract. I have the 40-year plan that Mr. Barty signed, but I want you all to read it. I want you all to go over it. If you have any questions for me, and then when they meet with me, I'll pass those questions on to the water district. But I want you all to read it. There are some provisions in there, and I want you all to think about two things. Do we want to shorten up the contract? Do we want to make a 40-year, 30-year, 20-year, or 15-year? That's one question I'd like to see the council kind of think on. The other thing is, along with this, and the way the water situation is going, we hadn't raised water rates since '09. Now, this is nothing we're going to handle tonight. I'm just bringing this up as a FYI for your information. Since '09. That's '09, '10, I mean 10, 11, 12, and here's 13. So I want us to consider that. I want you to have your mind made up, and I think the remark was made that we make these quick decisions, so you got 30 days from tonight to think about these two things. Okay. New business. Any questions so far? Anything unclear? Discuss, approve recommendation from auditor. Let me address this, and in your packet you'll have some things there. There were some things that I'll take the blame on overlooking two of the line items. When we renewed our loans, I didn't indicate a line item for taking out money to pay it back. So I'll take the blame for that. On the TMSR retirement, you see in your packet there. The lady from TMR, no, that's the insurance. Going over, other way.
Back?
Should be a graph there. Right, you just passed it. Right there. It should be a graph there, and this graph should show you. Then you got it, yeah. You got it.
There we go.
It should be a graph there to show you about our retirement system and where we are. It's self-explanatory. If you look up top, it's very progressive. Now, and I don't know how our auditors got caught up in this, but we as a municipality cannot put everybody to retirement because we can't speculate how many years they're going to be here. So it has to grow on a graph at a retirement rate and pattern. So if you look up top there, you'll see what we're paying and what the retirement system is going to provide for us. So I think, and the lady with our TMRS, she made it very clear, and I don't know where the auditor got into this, but that's, she's the auditor, and I'm not going to criticize it. But she said that our audit and our retirement was sound. If you read part of the letter she sent, did you get the letter too there? I think
yes.
Should be a letter
in the front.
right in front of it.
Just right in front?
Yeah. I would ask that you read that. You already read it? Okay. Now, she said it's sound. And the only thing I can do is put what we were required to put in there and take her word for it. I don't know how the auditor felt like, you know, there were some problems, but, you know, and I think we put in the percentages that the council before us, or when I was there, we had agreed to. So that's all we can do. Now, the other thing about the assets that she critiqued us on, I don't feel comfortable not carrying some of the stuff that's real old, especially if we're going to use it. Now, she wanted a 10-year write-off on this. I think she didn't want no more, and really a municipality with old stuff within the grounds and with our operations. I don't see how we can do that, but I'll try to meet her as close as we can. What I've asked the Water and Sewer Department, Mike, to go back and try to do an itemize or identify any asset that we can add to the list to bring our assets up through inventory. Stuff that we have in inventory, I'd like to see them put it on their list. I've asked the volunteer fire department and the EMS people to do the same thing. If they got an old cart that they take a patient on, I want them to put it on the list if they hadn't destroyed it. And the problem, I think, where we had some miscommunication is that I told her where all this stuff was, but she didn't want to, I guess, take my word for it. So I want to explain that. Now, the other deal is on some funds. As you all know, we agreed to borrow money for the fire department. And they are paying that back. And you say, well, why are we somewhat in the hole? They are paying that back on a note. And the reason we agreed to that we could get a better rate than they could. So, you know, like I said, I'll take the blame for a couple of items because, and I'm not offering excuses. I don't believe in offering excuses. When we start using this street money, we hadn't used any of it. So it kind of don't make sense to set up a line item to pay it back when you hadn't taken nothing out of it. Now that's my judgment on that. That's what I'm looking at as a manager. Now if that's wrong, then I was wrong. The other thing is when we renewed our water and sewer, what was it? 1 million. Was it 995,000. The reason I didn't put a line item on it, I felt we already had a line item in the repayment. And the problem we have in here is we've gone from one auditor, Jesse Stevens, to the new auditor, Ms. Johnson. Jesse did some things that helped us balance our overages and what we were under, whereas she compiled it all together and wanted to be, and you'll see it later on in some of the documentation, she wanted it all to be placed all together. Now, do I agree with that? Not totally, but she is our auditor. So I'm going to try to work it out, and I'll talk with Donna today. We're going to get a full explanation and explain to her where we are. I mean, I can't believe we're going to pull all this money out of our accounts and put this money out. I agree in putting so much gradually. As we have so much come in, our ad valorem taxes come in, we'll put so much toward the notes in that. As our sales and use tax come in, we'll put so much toward the note in that. And as we get in other funds, as we all know, we get utility funds. We get some from, we don't get any from your gas company, do we? No, we get it from, what, TXU? No, Encore. We get it from telephone company, which is Windstream, right? Mm-hmm. And we get it, and from Suddenlink, and we get it from who else? So this is going to be my remedy. I think we've got it pretty well worked out. Now, and later on down, we got an agenda item on this, and I want to give you this full explanation so you'll understand when we vote on the agenda item what we're doing. I don't want anybody to say that we're trying to do a quick fix, because we're not. But you can't put money in an account if you don't have it. And you can't solve these accounts by putting everything that's due in it when the year, your fiscal year is not even up. I mean, that's like saying you got a $20 light bill, and you're going to put $20 from now until December in there to save it. To me, that's a savings account. And I don't think we in good enough shape to have a savings account. Are there any questions about this? Or was that clear as mud?